The time has come at last for us to bring the first round to a close, but only after these last two competitors face off in the arena. To wrap up this segment of the show, we have two dual industry giants here to sign us off. On the one side, we have a quiet businessman, a personification of rags to riches, and the owner of the biggest D-wheel manufacturing company in all of New Domino City, Bolton! Ready to take him on is a man of enigma, the one who wields the powers of death and of miracles, former Sector Security Chief, Rex Goodwin! Once more, let's take a look at the decks, starting with Bolton. Bolton plays a unique take on a fairy deck with the core of the White Warrior monsters. They are relatively low attack monsters that aim to deal direct damage or destroy cards on the opponent's field. The rest of his monster lineup aims to do the same with Sky Scourge and Rise banishing the card. Fairy Archer doing 400 damage for every light monster on Bolton's field, and Athena punishing the opponent for 600 every time they special summon. He also has two dangerous trap cards. One being Whiteout, which negates any effects that target your own cards to activate, such as Junk Synchron, Sirocco the Dawn, and many other key cards in this tournament. The second trap being Sacred Arrow, which deals 400 damage for each monster the turn player had destroyed during their end phase. The extra deck being comprised of generic light synchro support, it is accompanied by one Dark Fiend, the evil Blood Mephist, who compiles massive damage if your opponent has face-down cards on their field. He brings on two additional copies in the side deck along with various lockdown and burn effects. These deceptive angels can whittle away at your life points quickly if they can get the ball rolling. Now, time for the opponent's deck. It's one unique deck versus another as we see this metaphor for dichotomy in Rex's pile. He has a light and a dark core, but not a single chaos monster to be found. The light core are a series of level 2 monsters. He has two of each Herald of Light monster, which can discard itself and another fairy to negate a monster, spell, or trap card effect, and two more monsters with effects to change their levels. This is all to help meet the requirement for summoning his two Dark Synchro monsters, the Ultimaya Zolkin and the Phantasmal Lord Ultimittle Bishbalkin. Two perversions of the legendary Signer Beast, the Crimson Dragon. Since these synchros have no level, you're going to need a Dark Tuner and a non-tuner with the exact same level in order to summon them. Ultimaya can generate lots of advantage for you down the line though, because he can summon a dragon from the extra deck whenever Rex sets a card. Bishbalkin, however, takes a more aggressive approach as it gains 1,000 points for every monster that's on the field and can help get itself going by generating tokens onto the field with its own ability. It can also Raigeki your opponent for attempting to destroy it. That's still not all, because along with several nightmarish level 10 dragons, Rex has yet another boss monster in his Earthbound Immortal Wirikucharaska, who can drop the opponent's life points to a singular point. The entirety of the spell trap lineup either directly supports the Earthbound Immortal or the Dark Synchro strategy. But can these two very different decks find a way to function as a unit? Time to find out! Ready, set, duel! It's been a long time coming, but we are finally here, approaching the finish line for this first round. Going first, Bolton is going to activate his continuous spell card, Valhalla, Hall of the Fallen. This continuous spell will allow him to once per turn special summon a fairy monster from his hand so long as he has no other monsters on his field, but this will actually get responded to because Goodwin has in his hand the Herald of the Green Light that he's activating. So by discarding itself along with another fairy from Rex's hand, a spell card will get negated and destroyed, and wouldn't you know it, he had two copies of the Green Light. Hopefully he won't regret pitching that second one away though, as Bolton also activates Heaven's Lost Property, a powerful card that allows both players to draw 3 and then discard 2. So we're gonna see them go ahead and do that as Bolton sends Athena and the Sleep the Morning Star to the graveyard, stacking his hand for a T-set pass. What a troll, what a Chad. At the start of Rex's turn, though, he will be activating the face-down continuous trap card, Whiteout.
While Whiteout is face up on the field, all effects on Rex's field that would activate targeting one of his own cards will get negated. Maneuvering around this, Rex will start to set up his field with the Earthbound Geoglyph field spell. When any player has a level 10 monster on the field, nobody can target the Geoglyph with any card effects, nor can Geoglyph be destroyed. It also allows Rex to treat Synchro monsters as 2 tributes for his Earthbound Immortal Viracocharaska. In addition to all of this, whenever a Synchro monster gets special summon outside of the damage step, Geoglyph allows Rex to add an Earthbound Immortal spell or trap from his deck to his hand. He'll set a card and then normal summon Diviner of the Herald, a level 2 fairy monster with only 500 attack points. But on its summon, it lets Rex send a fairy monster from the deck or extra deck to the graveyard in order to increase Diviner's level by that monster's. So by sending the level 2 Synchro Celestial Tuner, Diviner of the Herald will now consider itself a level 4 monster. But Rex will not do anything with that. He simply wanted to stack his grave, I suppose, as he ends his turn without attacking. And Bolton now sacrificing the Whiteout Trap card in order to activate the Magic Planter, so that he can draw 2 more cards. He'll set another card in his back row to replace the Whiteout, and then normal summon White Warrior, Snow the Rope Dart. Now we see Bolton flip over the face-down White Warrior, Fog the Treasure Shield, and then he tunes the 2, as Snow the Rope Dart is a level 4 tuner, so he can summon out his Blood Mephist already. But this was the summon of a Synchro monster though, so the Earthbound Geoglyph triggers, searching for Rex the trap card, Ultimate Earthbound Immortal, that he can use later. Bolton isn't worried about that at the moment though, as the Blood Mephist will declare an attack, destroying Diviner of the Herald and dealing 2,300 to Rex. Bolton sets a card and ends his turn. Rex will summon another copy of Diviner of the Herald, this time getting rid of the Herald or the orange light from the deck, and once again, he ends his turn, not accomplishing anything whatsoever. Bolton's main phase now, and Blood Mephist will activate its ability, dealing 300 damage for every single card that Rex controls on his field, a total of 900 if you count the Diviner, the face down, and the Geoglyph field spell. After this, he sets a monster and enters the battle phase, using Blood Mephist to run over this Diviner as well, dropping Rex down to 2,500, nearly 1/4 of his original life points. Blood Mephist triggering again to deal 600, bringing Rex ever so close to the safety line before attacking directly and being met with the face-down trap offerings to the Immortals. When the opponent attacks directly, Rex can activate Offering to the Immortals to negate that attack and then summon for himself 2 ceremonial token monsters and add an Earthbound Immortal card or a Roar of the Earthbound from the deck to the hand. So we see the 2 tokens set up the field as he searches for his God! However, Bolton has a play for this as well, as he will move into the second main phase and normal summon the Fairy Archer with 14 and flip up his White Warrior Fog the Treasure Shield. While Fog the Treasure Shield is significantly better in defense mode, this allows the ability of Fairy Archer to grow more powerful, as during Bolton's main phase, Fairy Archer can inflict 400 damage for every single light monster that Bolton controls, for a total of 800, nearly half of what Rex had remaining. Setting a card down, it's Rex's turn now, and he'll sacrifice his 2 tokens to summon the Earthbound Immortal Viracocharaska with 1 single attack point to its name, but using its ability will drop Bolton down to 1 single life point before triggering the Earthbound Whirlwind. While he controls an Earthbound Immortal monster, every single spell and trap that Bolton controls will be eliminated. He will now unfortunately trigger the Blood Mephist ability because he has set a card. This causes him to lose an extra 300 life points, and he has to find a way to get rid of the Mephist now, or else he'll use the ability next turn and snatch this duel. Rex taking the 300 drops him down to 800, which is enough for the Blood Mephist to take him out. And it looks like Rex doesn't have anything that he can play. He ends his turn, as during the turn that Viracocharaska uses its ability, it cannot declare an attack. Draw phase. Bolton draws a card, and we see the Ultimate Earthbound Immortal continuous trap card get flipped face up. While Rex controls a normal summoned Earthbound Immortal on the field, Ultimate Earthbound Immortal can target and then destroy any single monster that's face up. So just in the nick of time, say goodbye to the Blood Mephist. Bolton's turn, though, is not over as he still has the Fairy Archer taking aim for the last 800 points that Rex has to his name. And Bolton secures the first game. That was almost a legendary level comeback on Rex's part. Can he do better? We hope so, as he elected for Bolton to go first, and he starts off very powerful and very, very familiar by activating the Hecatrice. Hecatrice discards itself in order to search for Valhalla, Hall of the Fallen, which will then get activated and use its ability so that Bolton can special summon Fog the Treasurer's Shield to end defense mode with 2,000 defense points. He'll now set a monster and set a card, ending his turn at that. Rex will meet his defensive board with the Diviner of the Herald, this time pitching out the Herald of the Arclight from the extra deck, setting 2 cards and activating the Left Arm Offering, sending every card in his hand to the graveyard in order to add any spell card from his deck, and he grabs Terraforming so that he can thin his deck even more by activating it to search for and activate the Earthbound Geoglyph before ending his turn again. It seems that he has 0 offensive potential without his Synchro monsters. I hope that it's wrong for his sake. Bolton will activate the Dark Room of Nightmare so that whenever he inflicts effect damage to Goodwin, the Dark Room of Nightmare will activate, dealing another 300 points. And he'll normal summon the White Warrior, Hail the Iron Hammer, with 1,800. That is devastating for Rex to go up against with his playstyle. Hail the Iron Hammer will attack the Diviner of the Herald, destroying it for 1,300, and then activate its own ability, as it must destroy a monster on the field after it destroys someone in battle. So Bolton, unfortunately, loses his face-down Marshmallow, who could have stalled significantly. In his defense, at the hands of an Earthbound Immortal, Marshmallow means nothing since those monsters can attack directly, so I suppose he had no other choice. Rex draws and he bricks, having to end his turn without playing or activating anything. Hail the Iron Hammer attacks directly once again, and then we see Offerings to the Immortals activate again. So here come the 2 ceremonial tokens, and Bolton ends his turn. 2 cards in his back row, one of which he'll activate, being the Zing Zen Hu Replica. Targeting the only face-down card on Rex's field, while Zing Zen Hu Replica is face-up, that card cannot be activated, nor can it respond to the Zing Zen Hu Replica, so there is no chain action happening here, but we will see a god! Kocharska hits the field again, dropping Bolton down to a single point, and then by discarding a card in the hand, Rex can special summon Ascator Dawnwalker with 1,500 defense, along with the Fire Ant Ascator straight from the deck, using the level 3 tuner Ascator to tune the Sunwalker to synchro summon Sun Dragon Inti with 3,000 attack points. I hope that Bolton's face down card can save him, because if not, this is gonna be it. Earthbound Geoglyph though, because a synchro summon was just conducted. So he gets the Roar of the Earthbound Immortal trap card to his hand that he then sets. Rex will end his turn. This matters not too much though, because during Bolton's turn, he activates the Roar of the Earthbound Immortal so that if the opponent declares an attack, you can destroy the attacking monster and then inflict its attack points back to Bolton as damage. So with a singular point, Bolton would lose the duel for entering the battle phase whatsoever. He activates the Magic Planter, sacrificing his Zing Zen Hu, allowing Rex the ability to use his other set card again because he desperately needs 2 more cards. And he sacrifices the 2 White Warriors on his field to summon Athena, so that whenever a monster is special summoned, Rex takes 600 extra damage. However, with 2,600 attack points, it is not strong enough to take on the Sun Dragon Inti. We do see, though, that with 4 fairies in the graveyard, Bolton can now summon the Archlord Christia. 2,800 attack points to its name. This still, unfortunately, is not powerful enough to do anything, but it does trigger Athena's ability to deal 600 points of damage. So there is that, I suppose, and Christia does fetch the Marshmallow out of the grave. Nightmare activating for 300 damage, but I'm very sorry to say for Bolton that was not enough, as Kocharska has secured victory in the second round. That ace monster of Rex's seems to be devastating, and it alters the entire state of the game once it hits the field. Will we see something similar happen in this final matchup between these two duelists. Starting off, he sets 3 cards, activates Terraforming to fetch and activate the Earthbound Geoglyph once again. Synchro Beware. Bolton will now activate the Heaven's Lost property so that both players draw 3 and pitch 2. He'll then activate Hecatrice to fetch and I assume activate his Valhalla Hall of the Fallen. Hall of the Fallen will now special summon for him the White Warrior Fog the Treasure Shield again in defense mode, so that he can normal summon the level 4 tuner Snow the Rope Dart, allowing him to synchro summon the Blood Mephist. He went for it anyways, knowing how dangerous it could be for him. And we see that actually the Geoglyph does not activate. So continuing with Bolton's move, he'll set a card, activate the Chain Energy Continuous spell card, and use the ability of the Blood Mephist. First, while Chain Energy is on the field, both players have to pay 500 life points every time they normal summon, special summon, or set a card from their hand. And now Blood Mephist will activate his ability, dealing 300 for every one of the 4 cards on Rex's field for a total of 1200 damage. In addition to this, he has to beware of setting any more cards, because every time he does, that'll be another 300, and then another 300 on the next turn, so that Bolton can use Mephist's ability. Enter battle, Blood Mephist attacks directly and gets met, of course, with the Offering to the Immortals. We've seen this combo take place already. 2 tokens hit the field, Viracocha Rasca gets added to the hand, and 500 life points get paid, so that a god can emerge, setting the opponent's life points down to 1. In response to this, Sing Zen Hu will get activated on Bolton's field, locking Rex out of his 2 face-down cards. He has to pray that Bolton doesn't already have some sort of out for the Earthbound Immortal. Due to Chain Energy on Bolton's side of the field, he will no longer be allowed to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Blood Mephist effect will activate since Rex just set a card, and it matters not. All this effect damage piling on, bringing Rex down to 4,700, means nothing if Bolton cannot play new cards, because if you've forgotten, the Earthbound Immortals have the ability that they cannot be targeted for attack. Unfortunately for Rex though, this does mean that the opponent gets to attack directly. With Sing Zen Hu locking down 2 of the cards that Rex have been depending on, he only has half of his current resources to survive long enough for the Earthbound Immortal to attack directly. We see Blood Mephist activate its ability to stack on more burn, and oh, I am so sorry, Bolton! The ultimate Earthbound Immortal activates, destroying the Blood Mephist. Now, his field is wide open. He's out of resources. Magic Planter gets activate, but it matters not because Bolton cannot play Yu-Gi-Oh! So with no monsters left on the field, the Earthbound Immortal, Viracocha Rasca, attacks directly, and Rex has won the duel.